What we want to talk about is how does the brain work? The thoughts, the habits, the action that the brain actually generates. First of all, the brain actually works in a certain way, and every brain has a way of functioning. One thing that the brain understands is how to function, how to tell the organs how to act, how to function. The brain has certain type of wisdom, of knowledge embedded in certain type of the brain. There's a conscience, there's a memory, there's a mind. Understand, you must learn how to create a function, a habit. Now, in order to create a habit or a function, you must train your brain with wisdom and knowledge, using repetition. Now, the brain can do many things. If you train the brain over and over, a certain way, a certain procedure, using repetition, the brain will do the same thing over and over. Now, for an example, understanding about creating a habit. Creating a habit is something that's very important to understand. Every day, do the same thing using repetition. Exercise the brain and train the brain to do the same thing every day. The brain will create a habit. Memorizing, repeating the words over and over, writing it down, repeating it by saying it, by writing it, by memorizing it, using flashcards. Understand that it's very important to learn how the brain functions. The brain receives information on how to function. Now, this function occurs certain times of the day or certain times of the year. It tells the organs, every organ, how to function. Creating a habit is something that you must become an expert in. You must advance in. Every day, I think about smoking a cigarette or smoking a cigarette myself. That's a habit that was created by doing it on a daily basis. The memory in your brain. Once you feel information, wisdom, knowledge, experience, and skills and education to the brain, over and over, the brain creates a habit. The brain triggers an action. An action triggers based on words. An action triggers based on an image. An action triggers based on wisdom. If I say a certain keyword, the brain will trigger an action. If I see something, a brain will trigger an action. If I taught a brain to do a certain action when I say a word or think of a thought or see an image, the brain will generate an action. So what you want to do is very simple. Is train your brain with wisdom, knowledge, and skills and experience on what actions to generate and what thoughts to generate. Memorizing. Memorizing the words, the thoughts, the wisdom, the knowledge, the experience, and skills. And linking the words and the images and the everything that you see and hear and smell to an action. Understand certain thoughts and certain action must be ignored. And certain thoughts and actions you must remodify to a legitimate and moral action. Memorizing everything and using repetition. Once you trained your mind with wisdom and knowledge, and you trained your brain using repetition, the same action, the same wisdom, your brain will function in a certain way and generate action and thoughts. Repetition. Doing it over and over. Memorizing the same information over and over. Linking information to an action. Linking a thought to an action. Understand. Train your brain. It's like training yourself. Understanding the language of English. Every word has a definition. Every word has a meaning. Well, every thought also has an action. Every word has an action. Everything that you see has an action. Training yourself every day using repetition on what actions to generate. Either in certain situations and emergencies, you have to generate certain actions. Or when you have to go out there and survive, you have to generate a certain action. Every 6 hours you have to eat. That's an action that you have to generate. Training your brain. Filling up your brain with memory, skills, experience. And training your brain to generate certain actions with that kind of memory or thought or action or words. That's all. It's very simple. Memorizing, skills and experience, and linking it to an action. Very simple.